Good morning, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing the foods that I eat every single day as a vegan of 10 years. This has been on my content plan for so long. I've wanted to share all the foods that I'm eating every day from this point of view so that I can help those of you who are wanting to be vegan, wanting to eat more plant-based, or who are just vegan curious and you just want to have more vegan food on your plate. Because I know it is a bit daunting, the idea of suddenly removing animal products and thinking, well, what do I eat? Because I've removed a food group. So I want to share a realistic interpretation of this. I haven't planned what I'm eating today. This is just an off-the-cuff video I fancy doing today because it's been on my sort of list of videos. I thought I would really like to share that. The things that I love to eat, the things that make me feel good, the things that are balanced and great for my nutrition, for my well-being. But also keep in mind that while I say that I eat these every day, I'm not a perfect person and neither should you be. I do not put any pressure on myself to eat these foods every day. I have days where I'm traveling, where I'm not feeling so good. I don't want to cook. So I am a normal person too. And while I do generally eat these things every day, I also sometimes don't. So keep that in mind and never be put off by someone else's interpretation of what they're eating in a day or in a week. When it comes to your diet, because everyone is very individual and what I like and what I enjoy and what makes me feel good, it won't be necessarily the same for you. And also this is just one day. So the first thing I do in the morning is I have my supplements. So my supplement I have every day is AG1, and I basically just take out a scoop from my little thing in the fridge, pop it in water, shake it up, and then I will drink this before I have my breakfast. So the reason I have this is because it's very convenient. First thing in the morning, I know that I'm drinking a comprehensive blend of over 70 vitamins, minerals, other ingredients, gut-friendly bacteria, antioxidants, high quality mushrooms. It's just got so much packed in there. I have this first thing and it just sets my day on the right course. I've been drinking this every day for so long, and if you watch my other videos, you'll know this. It's just become a staple for me and it kind of sets me up. The days that I forget to have this, I feel like it's the days that I'm chaotic and I'm not thinking straight. This really does give me that mental clarity. It helps me to focus, helps me feel good. It's a really great way to start the day because I had a period of time where I was having coffee first thing in the morning before I ate. It wasn't making me feel so good, and I realised why. It's because I was having coffee on an empty stomach. So I swapped it for AG1 and it just replaced it as a habit immediately. So if you have the same bad habit where you have coffee, it makes you feel a bit jittery, you have it before you've eaten, AG1 could be a good swap because you're having nutrition, number one, but also you're having hydration. And I find as a habit, it kind of sets you up to do other good things throughout the day. It kind of says to yourself, first thing, I'm taking care of myself today. I'm giving myself what I need and supporting all the things that I want with my wellness and with my body. And obviously my diet is my number one focus, but something like this as a vegan is a way to support your immune health, your skin, hair and nails. This has got vitamin A and biotin in there. It's got vitamin C for your immune health. It's got pantothenic acid that's going to help with your mental clarity, folate, which is going to help with your fatigue and tiredness. And I really recommend it. This is something I genuinely have every day and it's been introduced into my life in probably the last year or two. I genuinely have no memory of when I started drinking AG1, but it's been a long time and I love it. I don't see it ever leaving my day-to-day routine. It's just a integral part of my diet, my lifestyle and my day-to-day food and supplement habits. And another thing that I know lots of people worry about is the science behind these things. This is backed by science. It's a team of scientists who are constantly innovating with their AG1 ingredients and the formula. So I know that I can be supported by these scientists who know what they're doing to add in the latest science when it comes to your gut health, your immune system, your heart health, your brain health. It's all in there and they're working on it all the time. So if you want to try AG1, if you want to add it to your routine, if you think it's going to be something that's going to benefit you, I have a link which gets you 20% off when you subscribe, as well as a year's supply of their vitamin D3 and K2 and 5 free travel packs, which are these little handy sachets. So if you travel a lot or you're out the house a lot, this you can take with you, which is so useful. It means I never have to leave this habit behind, which means that when it comes to what I eat every day, I actually am able to have this every day because it's just, yeah, I don't have to take this whole thing with me. So definitely go check it out. I'll leave it down below, and I'm gonna make myself breakfast. And this breakfast is actually something I've been having probably for the last like 4 months, every single day. So I'm making this recipe from my cookbook, which is a vegan omelette. And I've just been absolutely obsessed with this recipe for the entire of spring and summer so far. Not that it's even summer yet, but I've just been having this every day. I don't know what it is about it. It just makes me feel really good. It's got protein in there because it's got chickpea flour. And I always add some veggies. I'll have it with toast or avocado or with some fruit. Today I'm gonna have it with some fruit because I got a massive fruit delivery from Riverford yesterday. I've got blueberries and melons and peaches, and they all just smell delicious. And the one thing that I do, because I do have it every day, is I pre-make the mixture. So this mixture is chickpea flour or besan flour, nutritional yeast and black salt, and all the measurements are just in here. And then I'll make it up and measure it up and pour in the water and the veggies when I do it each day. It just makes my life so much easier. And if you're someone who used to like eggs or does eat eggs every day, this could be something that you switch if you're going vegan, or something that you just switch sometimes if you want to eat vegan some of the time. If you love eggs, you could give this a go at the weekends, or, you know, have every other day or something. It's just like a fun alternative that's really, really delicious. And if you don't know what black salt is calanamic, which has an eggy sulfurous taste. The nutritional yeast is something that adds some protein, but also it has B12 in nutritional yeast, which obviously is really essential for a vegan. And it is a little bit cheesy. And there's so many things that you can do with it. You can throw in so many different vegetables. My favourite's mushrooms. I have mushrooms pretty much every day. Mushrooms are so good for you, and I vary it up. These are shiitake mushrooms, but I also love chestnut mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, any variety, I'll have it. Not only are mushrooms incredibly good for you, but they are my favourite food. So let's cook this because I'm hungry. So if you do make up a nice big batch, just measure the total, and then you can divide it by the amount of portions you've made. So I know that for me, well, it might be the same for you if you did it, but you just have to check. For me, I know it's around 36 grams is a portion. And another reason I like to batch make it is because if I'm particularly hungry that day, then I can make more, make a slightly bigger omelette. It doesn't really matter. You add your powder, and then around 75 ml of water, though sometimes I do a bit more if I have a lot of vegetables in there, just to help it mix. I'm spilling this everywhere. Give this a good old whisk. And you should be able to smell the sulfurous black salt smell. And don't worry if you do smell that, because it is not as potent when you eat it. It smells stronger than it tastes, trust me. And then I'll usually take one mushroom. I would have more, but it physically won't fit. I'll see how this goes. I might do 2. If you don't love mushrooms, then just vary the vegetables that you add. So you could do tomatoes, you could do red onion, spring onion, spinach, anything really that is your favorite vegetable. Whatever vegetable you enjoy, put it in your food and enjoy it, and make it a nice experience. And have a variety. And this is what the mixture looks like. You don't have to add the veg at this point. In my cookbook, I recommend to like fold the vegetables inside the omelette. It's just entirely up to you, but this is just a way I've been enjoying recently. Now we can heat up a pan with a drop of olive oil. And that is another thing that I have every day. Do not be swayed or misled by people who say that oils or fats are bad for you. They are essential to your diet, and you should never be restricting any food group. Oil is and has been used for centuries by the healthiest people on the planet. Look to the Mediterraneans. They are the ones living to 100 in these specific areas, these blue zones, and they are all having olive oil and lots of it. So do not be afraid of it. I have it every day. I cook with it every day. I feel like my hair, skin and nails, look at the length of my nails. I mean, I need them redoing because they've grown out. But that is how much my nails have grown. Can you see the difference between the bottom of my nail and where they are now? That's how much they've grown in 3 weeks. These are my nails, they're not fake nails, it's just gel polish. My hair, I've got big hair, my skin is doing well, and I put that down to the fats that I have in my diet as a vegan. Don't restrict them, they are so good for you. So then we just pour our mixture in there once the oil has heated up a bit. And then you want to cook this on a medium to high heat for 5 minutes, and it will be ready when the edges come away. So if you use a spatula and it comes up without it sticking, it's ready to flip. You can flip it, or you can just fold it. I just fold it because I quite like it being a bit soft in the middle because it reminds me of an omelette. But if you prefer a more cooked omelette, flip it and then you can fold it so it's cooked properly on both sides. But it will crisp up and it'll be ultra delicious. You can even add some vegan cheese in the middle if you like. Sometimes I'll do that, don't have any today, but yeah, I'm so hungry for this. Honestly, I fantasize about this before I go to bed. It's my favorite meal of the day. Look, there's a little hole in the middle that looks like he's chatting to me. Hello. So it's looking like this, and essentially when it's ready, you'll see that the edges are starting to come up a bit. So I can fold this in half. So you've got a little half, but like I said, you can flip it and then fold it in half if you want both sides cooked. But I just love it a little bit gooey in the middle. This is just my dream breakfast. Let's dig in, shall we? Praise the Lord. You guys to ask questions about food so that in between me sharing what I eat every day, we can answer some questions, because my Q&A the other day you all seem to enjoy. So here's a good one to start off with. What are your thoughts on the highly processed vegan foods? So my thoughts are that processed vegan foods get so much attention in the news and in the media. And I think the reason that it gets attention is because people want to kind of explain why veganism is bad for you. So they sort of pull out this sort of narrative that vegans are just, you know, eating what everyone else is eating, but they're just replacing the burgers and the sausages and the cheeses with loads of processed food, and that's all they eat. I actually personally haven't met a vegan who eats that way. Most vegans I know are very health conscious and aware, and they enjoy those vegan processed foods, but they're also eating a very varied, balanced diet. There are also lots of vegans who do eat processed foods and they're fine with it. It's their choice and it's what they want to do. Just like there are people who aren't vegan who eat lots of processed food and they're fine with it and it's what they want to do. I feel like we shouldn't pay so much attention to sort of pinning it on vegan processed foods, and instead just think about processed foods in general. We all know, we all have common sense. We all know that eating UPFs or ultra processed foods isn't good for you in a large quantity. However, it's fine in moderation. I know that this is a topic of conversation that's very, I guess, is topical right now. I still eat vegan cheese and vegan burgers, vegan sausages, all of those things. I eat them. They're not something I'm having every single meal time because it doesn't make my stomach feel good, doesn't make me feel amazing. And I think most of us probably have those things in our diet which we know don't make us feel amazing. So I have balance, I have I guess education around nutrition to know what's good for me. And I think those foods are to be enjoyed. If you have recently turned vegan, then I am an advocate for those foods, because there's going to be a period of time in which you're going to have to swap quite a lot of things. So if you're in that period, enjoy the vegan cheeses and burgers and sausages until you kind of get your foot and you get your grounding, I suppose, with veganism. You start to learn how to cook with plants. And I don't want anyone to get over obsessive or worried about vegan processed foods or thinking that they shouldn't be eaten whatsoever or that they're just blanketly bad for you, because the same can be said about highly processed meats. So we know that those are a type 1 carcinogen. That is, a scientific fact. Any highly processed meats are not good for you. We know that highly processed foods in general, so cereals and, chocolate bars and sweets and biscuits, all those things, we know that those things don't do us good in the long run, and especially nowadays that the ingredients that they're adding to those foods are getting worse and worse and more processed. It's not like back in the day when you could buy a packet of biscuits and it would just have the ingredients you'd expect it to have. Obviously there are a whole host of ingredients in these foods now, so just be mindful of that. Check ingredients, be sensible, but also don't restrict yourself. I tend to follow kind of like an 80-20 rule, which means that most of the time I'm eating whole foods like this breakfast, but some of the time I'm enjoying some vegan sweets, chocolates, burgers, whatever. And I don't worry about it, because worrying about it and over obsessing about it is going to cause you more harm. Stress is one of those things that's extremely damaging for you. So I've been there when it comes to being obsessive about food and worrying about food, and that is far more harmful than having a relaxed approach to food where you are sensible. So that's what I would say. Enjoy them, eat them, but they don't need to make up most of your diet, nor do they need to be something that you completely avoid. And obviously if you choose to completely avoid them, that's fine for you. For me, it doesn't work. I need to enjoy myself and feel free with food. I also actually have hot sauce with this every day too. Hot sauce is a non-negotiable. I need to try this fruit because it's summer, which means peaches, nectarines, strawberries are all in season. Oh my God. Heaven on earth.
I stand by you when you're falling, when the river is calling. I said I love you forever. We can make it together.
So for lunch, I'm making a lovely big salad. I pretty much have a salad every day or most days. In the winter, I'll have soup or leftovers like curry, that kind of thing. But I do love a salad in the summer. What I do is I get a salad box from Riverford, and they send lots of seasonal delicious goodness, and I'll make a really large batch of it. This is how I meal prep. I'll just make large amounts of any food that I'm cooking so that I don't have to do it again. So I will chop all of this salad up, all of these veg. We've got carrots, spring onion, cucumbers, red peppers, and I will also fry some tofu and just make a massive salad that I can enjoy over the next few days. Leftovers are key. And I also have tofu pretty much every single day. I did get quite a few questions about tofu. Help me love tofu, please. I'm trying to go vegan. And how much is too much for a portion? I just keep munching it. So I have loads of tofu recipes. I recommend that you start with my sweet and sticky tofu, because that one is one of my most popular recipes on my website and it really converts everybody. But I'll show you now how to make tofu taste good, and this is my fail-safe way. It's super easy, it's not complicated, and it's delicious. Tofu is so delicious and so good for you. I like to have it because it's high in protein. It kind of is that point in my day where I know I'm gonna get a good amount of protein, and it's just so good for you. Don't be afraid of tofu. I know there's lots of misinformation around the tofu about how if you eat it, it's gonna be, you know, too much estrogen. It's phytoestrogen. And the studies now show that it's actually really beneficial, people who eat lots of soy products and lots of tofu. It's not the highly processed soy products that maybe some of the studies are referring to. Tofu like this in its whole form is usually pretty much always organic. So it's not GMO tofu or anything like that. And it's a whole food. It's processed obviously because it's in this block, but it's so good for you. So don't be afraid, don't limit how much you're eating. If you're saying you're always munching on it, just keep eating it. I often will eat an entire block in one day or half a block for a portion. Don't you worry, I'll have half a block now, but maybe later on I might have a curry with some tofu. It's not something to be concerned about. Like with anything, if you eat loads of something, it's never gonna be good for you. But just like someone having some chicken or some mince, they're gonna eat a normal portion of it, and they know that maybe if you're having a lot of red meat, that's not gonna be good for you. Just use your common sense and eat in like a normal, moderate amount, depending on your height, your weight, all of the above. So let's get chopping up this delicious salad. If you don't already have a tofu press, it's definitely a wonderful investment. It really helps to get all of the moisture out so your tofu cooks better. So I've started by pressing my tofu and then preparing all of my veg for the salad. chopping up my cucumber nice and small and also chopping up this incredible red pepper. I always grate carrot because I'm not the biggest fan of carrot and I find it tastes better, kind of disappears into the salad. Next is some thinly sliced spring onion and then this mixed salad that Riverford delivered, as well as a huge lettuce. I just sliced this up nice and small and then mixed everything together. Then I decided I fancied some tomatoes as well. Kind of forgot I had these beautiful orange and red tomatoes. I juiced a lemon all over the top and then drizzled over some olive oil and seasoned with salt and pepper. This makes the whole salad taste absolutely delicious. The olive oil and lemon will also help to keep the salad fresh in the fridge. I then sprinkled over some seeds because these are so good for you, full of healthy fats, and I like to have a variety of them every day. Here you can see the amount of water that came out the tofu. So when you chop it up, there's way less water and it will cook a lot easier and absorb all of that delicious flavour. I poured in some drained and rinsed chickpeas to add some protein and some more variety into the salad, and then fried up my tofu. The key to cooking tofu is to fry it first with olive oil and then season it. I seasoned with soy sauce, so light and dark, sriracha, lime juice, maple syrup, sesame oil, and then I sprinkled over some sesame seeds. I pretty much do it this way every single time and it always comes out perfect. Here we have our sizzling tofu. That easy. Literally took me 10 minutes, and I know this because I listened to Taylor Swift's All Too Well 10-minute version. And it just finished. I'll have probably a third to a half of this on top of a nice big bowl of that salad that I just made. And then that salad will last me for the next few days. Alex often shares it with me as well. It's great to prepare a really diverse salad so that you have that to hand. It just encourages you to eat a diverse range of plants. And that's another thing that I wanted to mention for the things that I eat every day. I eat a variety every day. That is so important for your gut, for your well-being, for everything in your body. You need a variety of plants and a variety of foods. I think they're saying now about 30 a week. I probably have like 30 in a day at this point. But aim for 30 in a week and see where you go. It really helps actually that I get a seasonal vegetable box. So if that's something that you can get locally to, if you're in the UK, you can use Riverford, or there's a market that you can go to, or a farmer's market that you can go to every week so that you can stock up on seasonal foods. That's going to be what your body needs. I feel like we have lost touch with nature and kind of lost touch with the fact that probably at this time of year, the foods that grow is probably what your body is going to thrive on. It's why we crave salads and fruit in the summer, because that's what's in season. And then in the winter, in the autumn, you're craving those kind of squashes, those hearty vegetables that are in season. And there's a reason for that. So there's a reason for the season. This is another thing I try and have every day is fermented food. This is kimchi. It's my favorite probably because it's just so delicious. But other ones will be sauerkraut or coconut kefir. And it just really helps with your gut microbiome to eat fermented foods. I think kimchi is my favourite vegan fermented foods. So most lunches, if I've got a salad, I'll top it with some kimchi. Oh, the smell of it. Like, I feel like I could eat this entire jar. It's just so delicious. So if you haven't tried it, give it a go. Let's give this a little taste. Delicious. Oh, I know what would be delicious on top of this. Tahini. Every day I try and get lots of yummy vegan fats into my diet. Helps you stay satiated. It helps you to actually absorb the nutrients in your vegetables. So if you're into nutrients and things that are good for you, then if you're not having enough fat, you're not going to be absorbing the nutrients from your delicious foods. So this huge salad, it's already got olive oil in there, so it has got fat and it's got sesame oil. This is actually not that runny, but tahini is a really nice vegan fat. This is like the bottom of the jar, so it's not runny. Usually it's a bit runnier than this. But it just helps you to take in all of this deliciousness. Okay, so how do you find the motivation to cook so regularly, especially for just 2 people? So it's just me and Alex, and this week it's just me by myself. And I would do exactly what I've done here. Take that extra bit of time to cook larger portions of food so that you have more to hand. I find that very simple. For example, the last few days I made mac and cheese, my 10-minute mac and cheese from my cookbook. That lasted me 2 days or 3 days because there was a large portion of it. So I didn't have to cook dinner the next day. I think I had a portion for lunch. Same goes for this. This is a huge salad. This is gonna last me until the next 3 days probably. And it just means I don't have to be cooking every lunchtime. I've got lunch ready for myself for the next few days. Same goes for dinners. If I'm making things like curry, chili, or any soups or big dishes in a big pan, I will make enough for 4 or 6 people because then I can freeze half of it. We can have it as leftovers, freeze your food, cook things that are simple, and don't make it such a thing. Like, if you are fed up of cooking, make it simple. Throw everything on a pan in a baking tray and just chuck it in the oven. Make a big curry. Like, a dal is so easy. It's just some spices and then some lentils, and then you just let it cook away. Just simplify it and stick to the things that you know best. But that is why I have recipes like my 10-minute mac and cheese and my sun-dried tomato tahini pasta in my cookbook, because I am also the same. I end my day, I'm tired, and I just want something quick. So reach for those recipes. So I'm gonna enjoy my lovely salad, which I'm just thinking now would really benefit as well from some avocado. But I'm gonna enjoy this and I'll tell you what I have after lunch. I am such a Delicious Ella fan. I love her snacks. These are new, her chocolate dipped fruits and nuts. I wish I had some energy balls, but I've got these, so this will do. And with that, I would probably say that I do have nuts and seeds every day. They're not something I eliminate from my diet. Trying to eliminate fats or proteins or any food group is never a good idea, especially if you're vegan. You don't need to be restricting any further, and have them dipped in chocolate. We love a post-meal sweet treat. So someone else asked about, did you notice any difference in your body when going vegan? When I went vegan, my biggest thing that I noticed is that I started to heal my relationship with food. I went vegan in university in 2014, and I was dealing with an eating disorder at the time. I started it as a fad diet, and I was following a restrictive version of veganism. I was trying to do high carb, low fat, you know, trying to only eat whole foods and cut out any processed foods at all, and just really limiting what I was eating. So I really did see it as another weight loss tool. What I swiftly learned was that veganism was much more than that, and I became very passionate about the ethics and the sustainability behind veganism and the boycotting element of not contributing towards the animal agriculture industry. And that, like, I guess, philosophy and moral standpoint just resonated with me so much that that became the driving force for me to maintain my veganism, and does to this day. And it healed that relationship with food. I feel like if I was to think about what it changed my body, it did change a lot for my, I guess, mindset around my body. It took years, it definitely took years, but it would do if you are dealing with something as severe as an eating disorder. But the main thing that I did notice immediately, I used to suffer with severe period pain. And I'd been to the doctor about this and been pretty much shoved away. Hey, just go on the pill, go do this, you know, it's normal. And it wasn't normal. When I was younger, I used to throw up, I would faint, I would have very severe pains to the point I would have to get into bed and I would fall asleep from the pain. So this was going on through my teenage years. I did go on the pill for a little while, but then I didn't like the way that the pill made me feel. It gave me pretty bad, I guess, like emotional symptoms and hormonal symptoms. When I went vegan though, I just stopped getting period pain. And when I did get it, and I still do get it sometimes, it's not severe anymore. And I cannot tell you how much of a difference that made in my life. And I really don't want to give misinformation out there. I'm only telling my story. I'm not saying that if you go vegan, it will get rid of your period pains. I will never know why that happened. It could be veganism. It could be something else entirely. For me personally, I did feel that it was because of that switch. I'm also aware that it could be the fact that I was upping the amount of fruit and vegetables I was eating, and more plants, and maybe having a more balanced approach to food. There are so many reasons why that could be happening. Maybe there was a nutrient my body was really missing out on. Maybe I was slightly intolerant to dairy. I am not a scientist or dietitian, and I haven't studied or looked at my body in detail. So yeah, I really don't like making big claims on the internet or try and say, hey, go vegan, you're gonna, you know, improve your period. I can't say that's true. This is just an anecdote, but I did experience that change and it has maintained itself to this day. I'm gonna get on with some work and I'll see you for some dinner, because I usually don't have anything until dinner. I'm pretty full and I might have a few more of these little snackaroos. Good evening. I'm out of my clothes and my jeans, straight into pajamas, my Tomorrowland hoodie, and I cannot be bothered with dinner. I'm gonna make a kind of like noodly dish. So another thing that I have every single day is spices. Spices are so good for you and they also make your food taste 10 times better. So I'm gonna make a very simple curry. I just cannot be bothered to be standing cooking right now. So I'm just gonna fry some onion up with spices and then add some broccoli and chickpeas and coconut milk, that kind of thing. Just very, very simple. What else could I add? So I could add the rest of these mushrooms. And I do this all the time. I'll just go off of what I'm craving. Right now I'm craving like a kind of very turmeric-y. Ooh, yeah, I've got turmeric in the freezer. I'm craving like a turmeric-y, gingery sort of curry. And then sometimes I'll do a green curry paste, or I'll have like an Indian curry with some chopped tomatoes. But yeah, that's what I'm craving now. And we have got a huge, huge broccoli. So I think I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna do, oh no, look, I've got this as well. So we'll have broccoli, mushroom, and pepper. And then I have some noodles as well. And these are nice and fast because you just put them in a bowl of boiling water. You don't actually have to cook them separately. And hopefully this is rapid because I'm hungry. I've just kind of been on my computer. So, and I've just gone for a nice long walk with Roxy. So it's time to fuel up. This curry was really simple to throw together. I started with onion and mushroom in a pan with some olive oil, heated that up, and then I added in some fresh turmeric and ginger. Life hack, freeze your turmeric and ginger and then use a microplane to grate it in. Makes life so much simpler. Then I added some garlic and some spices, some chili, turmeric, cumin, garam masala, and fried that all together. I added in my red pepper, broccoli, coconut milk, chickpeas, and then brought everything to a boil to cook, as well as some lime juice, coriander and seasoning. I allowed this to cook until all the flavours had combined deliciously. Then I added in my frozen edamame beans and cooked noodles. Mix this all together and we have the perfect curry. Super healthy, full of so much variety and goodness, and this tasted so yummy. I love a soupy curry. This is a dreamy dinner. Just delicious. I just love this type of food. Okay, so let's find another question to finish off. Oh, this is a fun one. What would your death row meal be? Interesting. Let me have a think. When Alex and I went traveling in Southeast Asia, one of the Airbnbs we stayed in Bali, we had a private chef. She was the loveliest and sweetest person in the world. She lived locally. She was absolutely incredible. And every single day she made us something new. She had never hosted for a vegan couple before. It wasn't like we were, you know, splashing out on this expensive experience. It was kind of like a thing that happened for lots of the Airbnbs there. It was like a bonus lovely thing, and you just had to pay for the produce, which would be like a £5 a day. She took the challenge on and she just said to us, what do you fancy, or what do you like, what are your favourite foods? And she made us a different breakfast, lunch and dinner every single day, something new. And I remember going outside in the morning and saying hello to her because she was preparing the food for the day, and she was roasting peanuts in the sun. She'd been roasting them during the morning, and then she was grinding them by hand to make some satay. In that moment I was just like, this is the best. It was the best food of my entire life, and I would have any meal from her again in a heartbeat. I don't know that I could ever replicate the taste of that food. So here's a good question, and this is kind of like trigger warning. We're going to be talking about eating disorders. Do you ever fear a particular thought around food is your ED voice butting in? And yes, I do. I think I've touched on this recently because I've been opening up a lot more recently in my videos about mental health, and I really hope that it's helped some of you. I think it has. And though I'm recovered from my eating disorder, it doesn't mean I don't sometimes have thoughts butt into my head, but what I've learnt from my recovery is to just let them pass. If you didn't know, eating disorders are a form of OCD. They're an obsessive compulsive, like intrusive thought disorder. Same as health anxiety. And when I had an eating disorder, I didn't know this, and learning what OCD is and how that kind of manifests in different ways has really helped me. And one of the kind of treatments, I suppose, for OCD is exposure, which means exposing yourself to foods that you're afraid of. So obviously eating disorders are a very specific compulsion. So you're afraid of food, or you're afraid of gaining weight for whatever reason, and you'll do certain compulsions in order to achieve that. So maybe you have a thought, a worry, a fear, and lots of people who have eating disorders, the fear is deeper than food. It is an insecurity that people won't love you, that you're not good enough, that you won't achieve what you want to achieve, that you're not going to be seen by society, etc. There will be so many different reasons why people have that issue. So exposing or understanding what that fear is, number one, but also accepting that those intrusive thoughts can happen and that you can just let them pass by. Meditation really helps with this, and exposure therapy helps with this. So if you are experiencing those intrusive thoughts, your eating disordered voice, what I like to do is kind of, when those things pop up, you can just think, that is me as a young girl who has been misinformed or who's been fed the wrong information, and I'm, as an adult, I'm older now, I know better, and I'm here to hold her hand and look after her. So that's what I do. If I ever have a thought like, oh gosh, your body looks awful, or you shouldn't eat that, I just say, you know what, I've got it under control, I'm taking care of it. And this is a tip that my therapist taught me, because that mind or that thought that's coming in, you don't actually have to react to it in any way. You can just accept that it's just a thought. Maybe it's child you, maybe it's just a random thought, maybe it's something you've picked up from someone else. It doesn't have to be reality. Hear it, let it pass, and go, you know what, I'm taking care of it. And go back to what you know. What you know is probably that the food is fine to eat, and that you are good enough, and that nothing bad is really going to happen if you eat this food. And that would be my biggest recommendation, to practice exposure to fear foods. Practice, if thoughts come up in your mind, letting them pass and not reacting or doing anything, because you can get lost in this flurry of emotion when those thoughts come up, and it all becomes all-encompassing and overwhelming. Another thing that you can do if you have those intrusive thoughts is to find other healthy habits that you can go to when those things come up in your head. So it could be contacting a friend of yours, or your mum or your dad, or someone who you can trust, and just either ringing them and chatting about your day, anything, you could just talk about whatever, or telling them that you've just had a bit of a nasty thought and you're stressing by it, and you can say, could you distract me, or could we talk about something else, or could you help me through what I'm worried about? Other healthy habits, like I've built up a whole arsenal of healthy habits, like having baths, like going for long walks, like listening to music that I love, that I can relate to, like cooking, baking, reading, sitting outside in the garden, gardening. There's just endless lists of things that you can do that are healthy for you when you have those intrusive thoughts that are making you kind of go off track, and that would be my best advice. And you're not alone. Lots of people have these intrusive thoughts. And beyond all of that, if you are really, really struggling, then go and seek help, speak to your doctor, and go and get therapy so that you can overcome this, and you're not going to be alone doing so. It's time to go to bed. Well, no, I've got to clean the kitchen first, but I will be cleaning up and then heading to bed. I did nibble on a few of these because I probably do have chocolate every day. These are the Raw Chocolate Company vegan organic milk chocolate buttons, and they're delicious, though I do think the caramel ones are better. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you're vegan or vegetarian, or you eat predominantly plant-based, what foods you eat every day, because maybe we can give each other ideas or a general consensus. Definitely check out AG1. I absolutely love them, and I do get a lot of questions about supplements. So AG1 is a really, really great thing to have and drink every day. I love them. So use my link, get your discount, and let me know what you think. Leave that link down below, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe if you enjoyed. If you want to see more food videos, let me know what you'd love to see, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.